All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, or Hakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim and to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, pushing the truth and faith and in all sincerity. I'm the brother Shema Allah from the GMS Houston camp. And in this lesson, I want to be going into, how that we should strive to be above the average Israelite, as far as, in the kingdom, okay? Because it's a lot of things that's up for grabs, so to speak, right? That we are not going to have a second chance of getting that again, okay? The reward is too great to settle to be an average Israelite. A lot of our people, they will hear this truth and they okay with, dying on this side and, having to come back, well, since we're going to get the kingdom anyways, then, basically they don't want to follow. They don't want to follow and be subject unto the scriptures, unto the laws, statutes, and commandments, right, and have that discipline, okay? They close their ears, all right, because they're satisfied with being average, okay? And we shouldn't want to be average, all right? That's why this should motivate us, to keep going, right, and to endure, with, whatever we got going on, all right? We should strive to be, a part of that, the top of the hierarchy, all right, or the upper echelon, of Israel, if you will. All right, because, average Israelites will still be blessed in the kingdom. All right, and they will still be in, better positions than the rest of these different nations. All right, but they won't be on the level of the Lord's elect. All right, they won't be on the level of that first fruits. All right, there will be a ranking system. Okay, or an order of things. All right, everybody won't be crowned by the Lord personally. All right. That 144,000, those the prophets, right? They will be higher than everybody else. Okay. It says, also how the Lord said about during the time of the Passover, how they kept, they drank the wine, and how the Passover was supposed to be kept, right? Then he said he's not gonna drink it again until he drink it new with you. With us, all right, in the kingdom. Everybody is not going to be able to take part in that. All right, the 144,000, all right, will have the benefits, that the other Israelites will not. All right, even the elect, the ones that make it on the first go round. All right, they will be highly famous and have an inheritance like no other. All right, and we shall all want that. So I got a couple of scriptures pulled up, before I clock in. Matthew 19:27, it says, Then answered Peter, and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahweh said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, right? Speaking about the kingdom of heaven. Okay. Ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So basically being in leadership positions, being in high positions, right? A part of that government body, making those executive, decisions. Everybody's not going to be in that seat. Everybody's not going to be sitting on those type of thrones, right? You're going to have the Israelites the Israelite man will be a king again in the kingdom. But like I said, it's going to be levels. Right? It says, and everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. All right? Now, this is not for every Israelite. Because every Israelite is not going to forsake everything on this side for Yahweh Shai and for this truth. So this great reward is not going to, apply to them. Right? Even though they will get, an inheritance, though. They will get it, right? But not as the first fruits. Just like as the firstborn, all right, from, the father, right, gets a greater portion, right? A large portion of the inheritance gets passed down, from the father, right, to the son, to that firstborn son. All right. It's going to be the same way, all right, with the 144,000. Revelation 2:26. And he that over, and I don't have these scriptures in any particular order either. All right. But it says, Revelation 2:26, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. Right? So he's speaking about the ones that overcome, right, on this side, that they will receive the power, that rulership and authority over the nations. And like I said, it's going to be different for the Lord's elect, man. For the ones who, stuck it out on this side and endured all the hell and the tribulation and the shame and, the things that we're going to have to go through and Jacob's trouble, right? Like scriptures speak about standing stiffly for his name, bro. It's going to be a different type of reward for these men. And rightfully so, right? It shouldn't be the same. The reward shouldn't be the same as somebody who gave up on the Lord or went back in the world, right? And didn't see the value in this thing. Nah, it shouldn't get the same thing. But they're still going to be blessed, right? but the Lord's elect, right? The 144,000 is going to be, above blessed. All right? Having a different type of power and rulership over the nation, man. You want the highest seat as possible that you can get. All right? You want to be on the highest level possible, because this is going to be an eternal reward. This is going to last for an eternity. This is going to be your position forever. So whatever you end up at, if you're the average Israelite, that's going to be you forever. It ain't going to be working your way up, or I'm going to take his spot. All right? Or this member that was a part of 144,000, he been slacking his position, and I was going to swap y'all out. And no, it's not going to be any working your way up. This is going to be you. All right? The one that's in that position, he's going to stay in that position, and he's going to inherit that glory, for eternity. All right? And if you're an average Israelite, whatever your inheritance will be, you're going to live in that. All right, forever. Luke 22:28, it says, "Ye are they which I continue with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom as my Father had appointed unto me," right? The kingdom of heaven. This is what we all striving for. This is what we all fighting for, and this is what we want. All right, but it said that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Right, it said that ye may eat and drink at my table. But that's serious in itself, right? Just even thinking about, the people that even eat. He's even allowed to eat at the table with the king. All right, these are his most trusted advisors, the most honorable people in the kingdom. All right. Fame on another level, right? These are special people, and everybody's not going to be able to eat at that table. Everybody's not going to have that privilege. Okay, we are earning that right now, which really, if you're the elect, is already given. All right, but we don't know who's of the elect. Okay. This is Romans 8:16. "The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, and of children, then heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Yahushua, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together." So it speaks about being joint heirs. It's like you have the heir which received the inheritance from his father, and Yahushua is receiving that inheritance, and he's going to share that with us, and we're going to be joint in that inheritance with him. All right, if we be of that number. All right, and be glorified with him. All right, that is a big thing. Do you understand that everything is given to Yahushua? Everything. And he's going to share that. All right, this is what we should want to be a part of. Psalms 8:6, "Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet." Right, speaking of Yahushua. It says, "All sheep and oxen, yea, and the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the path of the seas. But so that's basically just going into everything in the planet Earth, right, the universe. But the Lord gave it all to Yahushua. So that's why I said the reward is great, right? And this is up for grabs, so to speak, right? Because like it says, neither him that willeth nor runneth, but the Most High to show mercy. So you can't really do anything to obtain this, right? But it's supposed to be in your mindset to strive after getting after it. Right? This is what keeps us going each and every day. Right? This is motivation. It's supposed to be your motivation. This is supposed to be in your mind. All right. Luke 15, and I started at 20, right? Because when you go into this, just go to the man that had 2 sons. One of his sons got the inheritance, and he wasted it, and he had to basically become a servant. And he's like, basically, look, I'm going to return it to my father. All right? So Luke 15 and 20, and he arose and came to his father, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. And this is, him being in a repentful state. And this is what we were. We still repent, right? But repentant, from our old ways and how we were to come into this truth, all right? Being sorrowful for the things that we have done and change for the better, right? Be born again through the Spirit. But the father said to the servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry, right? And when I read this, I thought about, man, hey, this is exactly what Yahushua is going to do unto his elect, right? Specifically that 144,000. All right, it said, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. All right, basically being decked out, being treated the best, been given the best clothing. All right, been given the best food. All right, the glory on another level. Right, the best, inheritance. Okay, because these are going to be the men that stood stiffly, and said, bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. Right, bro. Because, bro, the blessings and the promises are going to be, in full effect, right? But the promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but you want to experience those promises on another level at its height, because we all are going to experience that. But you want to experience the best of that, and you won't get another chance to do that. Right now, where's the time? This is 2 Ezra 2 and 42. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So you want to be one of these men whom the Lord come and set a crown upon your head personally, right? And thank you, right? And give you your portion, all right? Give you all of these things personally. Man, that's great in itself. All right, calling your name. It says, so I asked the angel and said, sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, these be they which have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and I confess the name of the Most High. Now are they crowned and receive palms. All right. Then I said unto the angel, what young man is that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. So this is the Son of the Most High, Yahushua, is going to be crowned and doing all of these things for the Lord's, for his elect, right, for his 144,000, right? Because the elect is going to, the multitude that the Lord saves, right, the men, they're going to be on great levels as well as being the basically the, how can I say it, the first crops, so to speak, of the kingdom, right? They're not going to have to die and do all this, right? They're going to be that first, generation, right? They're going to be on another level as well, because the elect is going to be born through them as well. Not the elect, I mean, the 2/3, right, are going to have to be born through them to come back into the kingdom. So that through their seed, they're going to be bringing them back as well. All right, but that's really the lesson, man. I hope this is edifying. All right, with that, I'm going to say shalom.